Welcome to an episode of Unpacking. Now, tonight we'll be discussing our lovely high school days. Tonight we'll be discussing nostalgia, the lovely glory days, puberty, social events like fetes or parties, and of course our favorite teachers. Now, of course, the memo here to note on Unpacking is that what we say here are our opinions, our experiences, and not facts. And of course, you're always welcome to join in with us in the comment section to discuss anything we may discuss here in the episode. But of course, before I delve into the episode, how are we feeling about the topic of speaking about high school and our past tonight, gentlemen? How are we feeling about that?
I wouldn't say they were the glory days. They were more like dog days. But yeah,
What
it's a good
constitutes a dog day?
dog days. The days where you used to get down and dirty and do all sorts of manner
I've
evil.
heard a different meaning for that before, but it's not coming to me right now. What? Cause you know that song by Florence and the Machine, "Dog Days," that "Dog Days
Oh
of
my
Summer."
God.
There's a reason for it, man. I don't remember what it was about, but I know "Dog Days" have a different meaning, differently from what you just said. But how are you feeling about that topic tonight, Josh?
High school.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel any particular way about it. I'm not sentimental towards it. I'm not coming from one of those schools that people make up a bag of noise or replicant slow or that sort of thing. My most fun memories from high school had nothing to do with education. It had everything to do with cadet and music.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's your experience, so that's it. Well, thanks for that. So let's just dive right into it, right? No, of course, I wouldn't can speak for Joshua because he's never. I know he's very nostalgic about like what he just said about Cadet because in our previous episodes, things like what mold him into the type of person he is right now. The fact that he's a fan of the trumpet, where he wants to go in life seems to be heavily influenced by what the foundation and what happened in high school with certain absences. But what is the most nostalgic thing you'd say happened that you can think of that happened with you in high school, Josh? What can you say about that?
Nostalgic.
Yeah, like what reminisces a good memory for you? Like you mentioned, remember you mentioned that person before, and I think it was the parenting episode. I can't remember his name right off the bat, but he was the one that kind of mentored you in the whole cadet field type thing. If you remember, well, you would remember who that person is. It's not
Really. Kevin Stevenson.
right. That's the name. That's the name. Well, what are some of the nostalgic memories you have from the cadet then? Because the cadet seems to be a very big part of what your life was.
I remember getting onto a plane going to Grenada, traveling to the Eastern Caribbean for the first time for a Caribbean camp, being a part of a delegation that played an integral role in the training of other cadets over there and the running of the camp itself. I remember getting promoted just before going. I remember getting my first chevron as a lance corporal, passing my quartermaster exams.
Passing your what?
Quartermaster exam. I'm not going to try and explain that to you. I know you're kind of remedial when you're ready, and I don't have enough time.
I kind of heard something else. That's
Exactly.
what I thought. So I'm just like,
I heard
no.
something else. It's the case I heard quartermaster, but go ahead.
Quartermaster.
Okay, so I definitely didn't hear what you said.
I heard
but yeah.
completely
Yeah, what
different.
happened with this? What happened with this?
What happened with what?
The same
What?
test you said.
No, a quartermaster is responsible for the stores. The stores is the dedicated room for which we keep our equipment and apparel, and where the officer in command office is. So the person is responsible for the quarters. They are the master of the quarters. Thus the name quartermaster. It's a military term that civilians would not be familiar with. Yes? Yeah, but those were good days. The first time that I handled a rifle would have been in cadet garrison range. I wasted the government's ammunition. some.
So what can you tell the
some
listeners about what it means to actually fire a gun? Did it give you a pushback and you recoil? What was the experience like with that?
Felt like I dislocated my shoulder. But,
What were you
they're,
firing?
they're SLR.
Shotgun air. Oh shit.
Oh,
Yep.
yes,
I think
did it make you
that
feel
was-
powerful in any way?
Was it SLR or 303? One of the two. Powerful in any way. I felt the person who was the range officer at the time. I won't call his name. I remember exactly who it is, but I won't call his name. Ran me off of the range because he said that for a musician, I'm batshit blind. So we got targets to shoot, and I was shooting everything else other than the target.
Yeah, I understand what does being a musician have to do with being
Exactly. I'm
blind.
trying to really figure out what that correlation is right there.
We read black and white, and the target
see.
was in black and white. So why is it that I cannot shoot the black and white target? I'm shooting everything else that is green, brown, every other color except the black and
Maybe I
white
had an
target.
agenda.
They never want to shot black people now,
Exactly.
right? Want to shot them aliens
I
that
didn't
should
want
be
to
here.
be there any at all. But I was told that as a cadet and as an aspiring leader, I ought to broaden my horizon, and so I went and participated. I did not wish to bear arms. It was the first and last time that I went on range,
Your arms
and I
now?
was happy for it. Excuse me?
Do you wish to bear arms now?
The only arms that I wish to bear is my penis whenever it is that I
So
am.
my camera.
There's small arms that I would like to take up into any fight.
All right. But that's. Did you pass this? Did you
Pass
pass
what?
it? This particular leg.
It was a shooting exercise. It wasn't an examination, and shooting is not a part of any of the STAR examinations. From my recollection, you do map reading, you do drill, you do field craft. Some parts of it you might, if dependent on which corps you're in. If you are with marine people, you do watermanship, or those who are in medical corps would do their first aid. Those in the music, bands and drums would do ABRSM as external examinations. I have certification with the Royal School of Music. This wasn't through Cali, it was through my church and my own interest. But I started the drum corps on the direction of well, back then he was Lieutenant Stevenson, now he's Major Stevenson. So we started the drum corps, restarted the drum corps at Camp Nou. It's one of my greatest moments, doing music and teaching, being able to teach as a young lad. Yeah.
A question to you though, Josh. How does music make you feel? Because of course a lot of this is centered around your a lot of this is centered around your feelings about music. How does music make you as a person feel?
It empowers me and it uplifts my spirit. It gives me an avenue through which I can channel my frustration, my passion. It's all encompassing. It is my first love, actually. Yes, it has helped me significantly towards not killing certain people. Yeah.
So the listeners want to know, can you sing?
Is the man that never wanted to bear arms, but here he's trying to murder people.
No. That's not what he said. He did say he doesn't want to bear arms. So when he said doesn't want to murder people, this is actually, completely highlighting that point. He's saying that.
If I were to kill somebody, I would much prefer it rather than just using a gun and shoot them. It is so impersonal. I'd rather to slit their throat. Get up and close with them and see the brain.
So, alright.
I'm
just
I don't
saying
need a
that,
gun.
he has the tendencies and the making of a psychopath. But anyways.
Okay. Yeah, so I was saying the listeners want to hear me into music like this. Are you a singer? The boys, are you
I'm
a singer? Yeah, are you a singer?
All of us know that I am not a singer. You are a singer. I'm not a singer.
I don't know if you're not a singer. I've never heard you not sing.
I got a whole.
I know it.
But I am not a vocalist. I have been charged before with being responsible for choir at church. It's
I'm one of
just
those. I'm one of those birds that circle cornfields.
Gee.
pure understood. Singing is not my forte. My
Understand,
principal
understand.
instrument is trumpet. I play the drums. I have
He
dabbled with
plays
the
marvelous
guitar.
trumpet. Anyone listening, he does. You can
Hey, hey,
always
hey,
find him on
hey, hey,
Instagram.
hey.
There's a video of him. I know it's a lovely piece he did for his friend. You can find him on Instagram at joshposh_876. So just go and look up that and look at that video. Give it a like if anything. And leave a
Yes,
comment. So leave a
knows that
comment that you
trumpet
came
quite good.
here from this video. You came here from this video. Getting into nostalgia, of course, back in those days of being 12 to the age of, I believe, 16, because I believe I think I left fifth form at 16 years old, yes. What was most nostalgic for me for the entire time of me being in high school is, well, firstly, it was, if I can think of anything, it was the availability of how cheap certain things were. I know most of the things that we think about now, like from our perspective, no, we don't really think about how cheap things used to be. And when I think about what it used to be for like a box lunch or something like that, that brought me great joy. I loved lunchtime. I know I wasn't a fat person in school, but I did love lunchtime. I love the fact that they would pack those cardboard boxes filled with food and you could just go and join that line and they had everything there laid out. That, the most nostalgic thing for that is definitely that. Aside from the cartoon antics of making cabbage balls and throwing them at people, and if no one here knows what a cabbage ball is, normally at our school we'd have like waste papers that you'd make a small ball with and just keep on adding layers and layers and layers and layers and layers until it became literally a cabbage. It would be like a dodgeball to, hurt other people, or what we call a lollipop slingshot, where you take like a plastic slingshot and use a rubber band. I'm pretty sure Alex knows what I'm talking about. Like, he definitely would know what I'm talking about. I mean, these things could take people's eye out. Like, when I think
Oh,
about
yeah.
things,
Of course, you remember when you take the lollipop stick, you bend it, and you just get elastic put between
No,
your
but
fingers
I
and
mean-
shoot somebody in the air.
no, but I mean, when you think about that, Alex, think about it really and truly. Do you have any idea how dangerous that is? I mean, when you take up a plastic,
We
somebody
had no care in the world how dangerous it was. It was just fun,
I'm
and
telling you,
it
that was
funny
very
when
dangerous.
somebody gets sting. Okay.
I remember people would go around, they would go around and they would take like this hot sauce thing, like, this normal thing they had like in the lunchroom. Well, some schools I know probably had it. They had this, we normally have like these things in our house that are filled with like peppers, vinegars, and it has a name. Some people normally use it as decoration, but you can use it to like add spice to your food. And I know at one point in time they were using that to put in their hands and walk around with it within their palms and rub it across your face. That means that they're helping you to blow your nose. And of course, because their hand would have been riddled with capsaicin, that would have burned the hell out of your nose completely. And of course, that could set people ablaze. Thinking about those things make me laugh, definitely. Other things that were nostalgic to me is the fact that how we used to sing our school song.
Oh my
And I think
God.
no, it's the truth. Like how you
Oh
used to
Men
my
of
sing your school
Harlem.
song.
God.
What was that?
The moment you
The
What
tune
Josh
is
said?
Men of Harlem. For your school song. I remember working with the music teacher at St. George's College, teaching a set of woodwind and brass players, students. Oh God, you guys were a handful.
Handful.
The school
More like
song.
an annoyance, man. But yeah, man, just me thinking
the
about that
moment
really.
the moment you said the word school song, my
Uh-huh.
my brain just literally automatically started playing the entire song in my
Yeah,
head.
man. I mean, I still remember mine to this day. I still do, and I think the only reason why I remember this is because of the memory that follows behind it. There was a time when we were in first form where we had this teacher. Her name was Valerie Virgo. I really hope she's doing very well. Awesome lady, and she was a big disciplinarian. And she said that because of how we were so treating the first form block so deplorable, that all of us would come to school tomorrow morning, and anyone that's called on inside that devotion has to be able to sing that school song from beginning to end. Of course, fearing public embarrassment, I went home the day off and learned the whole thing, and that is the only reason why I know the school song. There was no other reason why I would, because I didn't feel the need to sit down and learn those words. But because of that threatening purpose, I eventually learned how to do it. And you see what that type of reinforcement does for people. I still remember it even now, and I have a lovely memory to follow it. Lovely memory to follow it. High school, I
The
believe a
reason,
lot of
the
us.
only reason I remember my school song is because we had to learn it that summer school before the seventh grade because the music teacher was a big stickler for either the recorder or the school song, and because for the life of me I never wanted to learn the recorder. Who learned the school song word for word,
Oh, jeez.
and I know it to
I
this
wish I had
day.
gone to summer school before going to high school. It was something I opted out of because I guess I never really wanted the time in prep school to end so quickly. Because high
I
school did seem a bit scary to me.
I
I
don't recall
enjoyed
it
it.
being an option for us. It was called brain development. And we started learning chess from that time. I'm not sure if it
I
did.
learned chess from in prep school though.
Yeah, no, I did go to a prep school. I wasn't so fortunate.
Oh,
But
jeez.
we did chess in brain development, and for the first two or 3 years of high school, and you could have continued should you have your heart and desire to do the same in the chess club. But I wasn't leaning towards moving pieces of wood around the
The
place.
thing about chess, I'm not meaning to segue. The thing about chess that makes it so people look at chess, domino, and playing cards like they're silly. A lot of people do that. They
Not
think
silly.
none of them are silly. If you know how to properly play them. I don't mean play them in terms like people use domino for matching purposes, and people use cards by the means of just playing whatever color is in your hand. It's a true mathematical purpose, and I think once you're able to unlock that, you really understand why you have tournaments surrounding all these things. That people actually all three of those games, I know, and more so others, help you develop a lot of strategy, and chess is definitely one of those. And it's
I don't think there's
primarily because
anyone that's greater than chess in terms of the stimulation of your mind and having to play out things, because with domino there's just six variables.
mm,
Chess there are a multitude of variables.
they have
It's an
multiple
experiment.
outcomes. Yeah,
hmm
they have
And it can
multiple
take
outcomes.
days. Matches can take days.
It can well, depending on how bad how bad or how good each other player is, it can take days. It really can, because it can't be deadlocked, as you know. It's either you're gonna surrender or you're not. But when it comes to dominoes, though, dominoes is finite. I mean, if you're playing with four persons, I can't imagine
That's
more.
fraud match. That's
But
fraud match.
I
but
mean, it
yeah,
can last for a very long time.
it can last for a very long time.
It
But
depends
the point
on
I'm making
how
is that
good the
with
players are.
chess, chess is to be honored. I understand that Josh is saying he didn't particularly want to move boards around, but I've
No,
always thought
I
that
never had
chess.
a problem with learning chess. I had a problem with the people who I was playing with.
Oh dear. Well, people who
Yeah,
play chess are kind of assholes, so
no,
that
Hey,
it's not a matter of asshole thing. It's a matter of that we were learning this thing together. I seemingly am ahead of you, and I am forced to sit for an hour or so, or was it a 45-minute session, however long it was, and waste time looking in your face, knowing full well from the beginning that I'm going to wipe the floor with you, and you're absolutely no challenge. And they won't pair you with somebody that actually makes sense, because they also need them to be sitting over there wasting their time wiping the floor. Your mother did not send you to school for your school uniform to be used as a mop. So why do they do that? Carry this person in front of me, a total waste of flesh and blood,
I
sitting
wouldn't.
there
No,
like just a
you
log.
can't see it that way. Not just really. I cannot see it that way. As a matter of fact, being a part of the chess club, when you're given persons who are not necessarily on the same level that you're at, it is up to you to teach them how to become better. I'm not gonna see anybody as a waste of
All right,
space. No.
no, it's not a waste of space. It's a waste of my time, because the chess club is different from a class. Chess club, you are buddies, right? In class, you have a teacher. I wasn't being paid. The man who
Well,
was being paid to teach us saw and knew exactly what he was doing. Just passing the time. I never got to learn and to advance and to be challenged. I never get the opportunity. Even in chess club, we used to have to sit at the back as well, because we were first form of language. I stopped going because who do I think gonna be? I was going by my grandmother, and she told me that I am the best thing since sliced bread. And then I come into this where
Jesus.
nobody's looking at me. I'm told to sit around the back like the big boys play. No, so I'm gonna go play in the band and join cadet, where I am seeing that my life is being impacted in a positive way. So I left Chester alone, and I have a couple of friends, even the friend that you had made reference to that I honored by doing a rendition. She is listed. It would have been listed on the Jamaica Chess Federation, and I had a couple of cadets. Their father was the person responsible for teaching, and they're incredibly good chess players. But I would never play against them. No, that would just be a complete waste of their time. I would be wasting their time because I know I'm going to get my ass handed to me. So I leave it alone. I haven't played in years, actually. I've played checkers.
But it's quite fun. It's quite fun from my perspective. So we have here puberty, right?
Oh,
now, of
no.
course, as much as all of us are here as grown people now, supposedly, we were not born big. So at one point in time, we were babies, then we were young children, then we became teenagers.
Oh
So
no.
we became teenagers, right? Tell me, come on, guys. People are listening in. We're the same as other humans out there now. What was some of the memorable,
I'm not a human, I'm a Martian, okay?
what are some of the memorable points that you had when going through puberty? Anything?
Oh,
Come on,
dear
share
Lord.
it, share it.
Dis-
I wonder if I should share it.
discovering.
I will go first, man. I will go first, right? Listen, when what 12 years old, or some people 13 or 14, depends the type of person you are, genetics and stuff like that. I remember I wanted a beard so bad. I wanted my voice to change so bad because having that made you feel like you were like 10 times out of 10, most likely to get anything. The confidence would increase, everything would increase. And I remember somebody told me, other people influencing you as you're growing up, that if you take if you heated lotion and put onto your face, it would help you to help your beard grow. And of course, back then I could have forced myself to believe that what happened was a result of that. But now I'm grown, I would have understood I was being taken for a ride, and that wasn't true at all. But the minute I saw the first hair under my chin, Alex, you couldn't tell me I never happy. You couldn't tell me I can keep stroking it like I have a beard now. Mind you, little did I know, eventually in the future, shame would have become a nightmare. I did not know that. It become a nightmare to release to razor bumps and stuff like that. Literally creating havoc in my life. You understand?
When you were there, rubbing out your peach fuzz, waiting on it to grow.
Right.
And then when it finally grows, you're like, oh my
God.
god.
You're like, oh no. And I'm telling you, it's a real. Mind is a bother to me now because I've grown mine all the way up. But if I should have it in a section like how you'd have first met me, I can't really maintain that. I really can't. It grows quite fast. That was one of them, as well as the voice changing aspect. Your voice cracking, as what Josh said before. As if people would know, listen to this, or people would know me, I sing quite well. And when I was growing up, coming from the age of 12, where you have that lighter sounding voice, going into something that is a lot more deeper. I didn't look at it like it would be a bad thing because I wanted my speaking voice to change. I never liked the whole high pitched thing. It made people, whenever I'd answer the phone at home, they'd think it's somebody else, and I did not like who they thought I was sounding like. So I really wanted my voice to change, and focusing on some of those things.
You were your mother's daughter?
No, they didn't think that. No. But thanks for jumping in with something underhanded.
I just confirming because you said that.
No, it wasn't that. It wasn't that.
He just swooped in with the machete to chop you at the knees.
No.
To be sure, because
it wasn't that. It wasn't that. for some people, for instance, you guys, we have an unpacking episode every Monday. And I'm not sure if you guys actually listen to the episode or whatever the case is,
Not
but
sure.
some people, do you listen?
From beginning to end multiple times.
Okay, right, right. So with that being said, I mean, some people they can't really listen to their own voices, no matter what it sounds like. Said it's not a case where
Cringe.
they whenever I answer the phone, they think I was putting on a voice to sound like a cartoon character, and that did not make me feel comfortable. It didn't. It didn't make me feel comfortable at all. It's not a case where it was the worst sounding voice ever, but no, I didn't like that. Over time, when the cracking went through, and then it kind of finally became what it is now, I appreciated it more. I just did. Now, whereas some people can have an issue re-listening to their voice, I don't know, a lot of people do. Probably majority of people do. Even if they say
I'm
they
right
don't.
here. I'm like right here.
You and everybody else are right there. I don't have a problem re-listening to myself. And it's a case where I've been forced to do so that got me into the idea of doing it. I think the more comfortable you come with seeing yourself being videotaped or recorded or whatever the case is the more you get to a better appreciation for self. And you have to understand that the reason why, anybody listening, the reason why your voice may sound different in your head than when you hear it recorded is because of the bass and where it's located. It doesn't mean you're hearing somebody different or whatever the case is, but you always have to remember it is your voice and you need to love it. I have a particular friend that she has a particular issue with that, and she's very talented. And if she's listening, I hope she understands that you need to grow out of that. Like it needs to leave. Like it needs to
But
leave.
I literally,
It isn't
I
a problem. It
literally,
needs to leave.
I've
But
been,
and
I was
things like that,
talking to
things like
this.
that, things like that. I mean, of course, before I'm not cutting Alex or anything, Alex will get his chance to say what he's saying. I'm just speaking about puberty and about the height issue. No, um, I didn't particularly want to become 6 foot tall. I'll say that right now. I think I opened my mouth and I wish for the height that I am now, and that's what I was given. I said I wanted to be 5'7", and they made me 5'7". So I'm happy with that, right? But back then, going through the changes, realizing you're still at 5'4", and everybody asking you how is the weather down there, and I didn't particularly like, didn't particularly like that. I know one of my friends that listen to this podcast will laugh as he hears that because he said it all the time because he's much taller than I am, asking me what's the weather like down there. But I remind him, it's fine. It's sunny down here. I don't know what it's like up there for you, but it's sunny for me down here. Getting the height amongst men. Most of us prefer to be taller. Am I right? Does anyone here agree with me?
I was
Did any
quite
of
fine
you?
with my height.
So you're fine with it? How about Josh? Josh, do you feel like you wanted to become taller?
Nah, I don't have an issue because if you're taller than me, as are many persons, especially now, I haven't grown much, and I think that I have now reached the age where, in terms of height, I'm going to decline and not get any taller. I just ask you to step back in a forceful voice because I have a young man that refers to himself as Bob at work. He's on my team, and the other day he was banter telling me that I'm a little boy and I must mind how I talk to him because if I don't see that I have to look up at him. Now I'm 6 years his senior, and I have to remind him that this
Right.
hasn't burned grass just yet. And when you're speaking to me, I'd like for you to step back so that I can look in your face without having to chin up.
Yeah.
Understand why people don't understand that Chihuahuas are the most aggressive of dogs.
I find it.
Yeah, but one of the things that they don't get is that because I'm so short, I am closer to your balls. Don't
Right.
mess with
Not
me.
only
I will
that.
damage
Not only
you.
that. You're close to everything that's vital. Did you know
I
that?
will
I will
damage you.
kick you in the
Anything
knees.
that's vital. I mean, whenever people always keep saying like I said to people this, right? I mean, I'm quite aggressive. Fighting is a pastime of mine. I guess many people know that. When it comes to fighting, if you're somebody who's 6 foot, maybe some people disagree, but shorter persons have easier access to their limbs. They can move quicker than somebody who's taller. So I can never understand why it was ever in anyone's nature to pick on somebody who's shorter than they are. And I've seen it so many times, like so many times. If I think about it, let's say for instance, and we're not segueing to what fighting is because of course this is not fighting channel. But if Joshua was supposed to attack that person, given the height ratio you mentioned, there's so many things he could have done so quickly before that young man even realized that he's going down. And he thought the only advantage he had was height. No.
What happens is a societal stereotyping of short
That's
people
true.
that
They're weak or they're easily picked on.
I'm going to disregard everybody who really thinks that way, because I'm going to let you all know. Y'all are tall and they all talk about how they want it tall, dark, and handsome.
Oh Lord.
Trust me, she really wants a short man. A short man love climb tree, a short man tear sheet. So, let's move on.
I cannot speak to any of that.
But I mean, thinking about that though, look at Josh. Joshua is short and he seems to be getting a lot of attention. So I think.
No. You see, and that is the thing. You guys need to just be mindful of your own lives and leave my life alone. I'm not getting any attention from anywhere. I have never been with anyone that is significantly taller than me, nor do I believe that I will ever be. Of course, I have been attracted to people who I have to look up
You've
to.
been getting a lot of attention from the ladies, though. You're not a tall, dark
person.
person.
I think that's the point I'm trying to make. Yeah.
The only thing in that equation that does not apply to me is that I'm not tall enough. I am a bit dark.
That is it.
I am
That's
certainly handsome.
We're defending. Yes,
And I am tall where I need to be.
All right.
Listen, Alex,
Dashing young fellow.
Him say he's tall where he needs to be. He's tall where he needs to be. And that is him making his point, right?
But I thought in the last episode somebody's, you know what? I'm not going to go there.
I
Let's
have no
move
idea what
on.
you're talking about. No one knows what you're talking about. You're talking about something that there's no evidence. It's never been said. We're not gonna dive into that. Now, of course, what were some of you guys what's the word I'm looking for? Your journeys through puberty. What was that like for you guys?
Oh my God, 7th grade. When puberty was at its max and puberty just hit, and you had this English teacher. Oh my God, Miss Brown. That was the moment where I realized that an older woman my thing there. Yeah.
Oh jeez. Did you just say grade 7? Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
The first day she stepped in that class, my mind.
Do you know how old was she though?
Me.
Because she may not necessarily be that old. Well, she clearly must be older. I mean, at least 24. But,
Nah.
at least 24.
She was exactly 24.
That helped you to understand that a little bit more. What about you, Josh? Anything specific happened for you during those, anything out of the norm between 13 to 16?
Anything out of the norm would have happened to me. I realized that here started to go in places that it wasn't before, and that the young ladies were fascinated by who had hair on their balls from within. When they were at PE, we changed out.
That was a question. That was a question that I got as well in high school.
Like, they weren't asked.
I know that he mentioned
pulling down pants.
Yeah, no.
So I probably never got that experience, because nobody can just come pull down my pants. But random girl just come up and ask, do you have hair down there, or did you shave it?
I've never been asked that question before, but I have been pantsed before. Yes, that definitely happened.
Oh my God, you can't try that at my
pantsing and all.
Now when I think, that was when I was
I will skirt you.
Oh, you surprised me. You startled me. I didn't know what
No. You said here in terms of puberty, but it's so funny you mentioned that about when hair starts to grow. If I'm being honest, that started from when I was around 9. And
we see, and what people don't, I think, and the medical field has said this, because young ladies can start to see their period from as early 8, 9 years old. That a lot of times puberty began before pre-teen into teen. It began, but it was very mild, because when I look at my daughter, I look at her hand, you see, like, if you look closely enough, raised hairs, like, they're very fine. And the same beneath her
It's
arm,
called peachful.
whatever. Just a little bit. Because whenever she takes a shower and she gets out of the shower, she wants me to affirm that she is fresh, that is our little thing that we do. So she come and put her armpit by my nose. And thank God it's always fresh because my sinuses are very tricky there. They're very sensitive.
Tell me, I don't think should have smelled bad. I don't think so. But those things started very early.
They're very
at 12 they were all the way out there already pushed up and stuff like that. It's just that there was no push under the chin. That's all.
And I had like 1 or 2 strands underneath my chin that failed me in a cadet exam. We went to inquiries. I was told that I had one strand of hair under my chin by the examiner, and I couldn't sit the exam, and I think that something was in something at that point, and I made him, aware of what I thought him to be, which was nothing good, nothing nice. And of course, that to me failing the other exam, that was the resit, which was fine. I never lost a minute's sleep over it because I got to tell you exactly what I think of you. And in time, I learned that not everything that pops up into my head should come out of my mouth.
Wow.
In time, I learned that lesson the hard way. Still learning.
You learned that?
Yeah, that's what I say. I'm still learning because sometimes I listen back to this podcast and I have to shake my head and say, wow.
Oh, Jesus. Well.
That is why I listen over and over, because I catch myself by surprise sometimes. Oh my Lord, my God! I just wonder what some of my judgmental Christian friends might be saying about
Lord.
me.
But the thing is,
that they are probably
you have judgmental non-Christian friends too. I'm right here.
Yeah.
No, I am okay with that because that's fine. But it is the people who believe that they are holier than thou and that they are better than, and that they use Christianity.
But I don't think you've ever said anything. I mean, if anything, yeah, we're all quite opinionated, and yes, you do say some things that maybe a bit outlandish.
There are a few times he was not a Christian here; he was a Chris Pudding fan. We know this.
But even in that regard. Yeah, you can 1 and 2.
Do I sound apologetic to you or remorseful?
No, I just want to ensure but it's that. Just now I know that. I'm just saying that if anyone is listening and believes that because you're saying you don't know what type of I'm leading from the point that yes, you don't know what type of impression you're giving to your judgment.
That's fine. I don't give a rat's ass. No. I don't want you to worry about it. I said what I said, and whatever it is that I said, I had to say.
But never apologize to the kid.
Okay. All right. So we had those journeys with your puberty. What was it like going to like parties back in that young age? That's a teen. Anybody have to sneak out?
I went to a social. Going to
that's what it's called, Alex.
Yes,
it's called a social. I mean, affect is correct, yes, but it's called a social more.
Yes, man. If they had called it effect, I would have known precisely what I was getting myself into. Poor little Christian boy, house rat. And following my friends now, because they say the social. My understanding of a social is a gathering where food is there, probably a little liming and thing. Paying my money, I think it was $50 at the time. If not $50, $30. That time $30 was only for money. That was bus fare. That was
yes, it was.
I got a ticket and school fish, and we went to the canteen. When I got to the door, I realized that as soon as the doors slid open, I couldn't see the gap between each person. So I was wondering what's happening because this is a fire hazard. Got in there, And lo and behold, the gyrating of the waistlines and the blast music with the rockers thing, and I'm saying, on God's winners, these are children, ages 11 to about 15, 16, and the place smell awful. Sweat, it smell awful. And everybody just winding up themselves and behaving like, ooh, that was the first and last pet social life I went to.
What age was this? What age was this?
I was in grade 7.
Oh, that means you're 12 or 11.
I was 11. I was 11 at the time. I became 12 in November. And this was...
Yeah, that was 12 or 11.
Just before Heroes weekend, the holiday that we will have gotten.
Joshua said the smell.
That's church. Work. That work could be like school, where we get the same holidays. Wish that work had the same holiday system as school did. You know.
I wish so too.
You went to school. You started school in September. If you didn't go to like summer school or what.
But you know, funny though, Josh. Some workplaces actually do. Some workplaces actually do. They do actually observe it.
Government entities, sure.
Yeah.
But
they
not
do.
the private sector, especially not call centers. Because as soon as they get to school, 1.5 months in, you are getting midterm or Heroes.
But you know, it's so funny. It never seemed that way, no. It didn't seem that way.
It seemed like eternity, you know.
It seemed like an eternity. Like when you said a month and a half, and that's really and truly what it is. That's another thing that bring a lot of nostalgia. The fact that for me, I was saying to Alex prior to the podcast episode that a lot of things we took for so much granted back then, you know, because sometimes midterm is put in place as your sports day. Like sometimes when you get those type of little breaks in between, it's like we weren't really seeing them for what they were. To me, I didn't even really notice what midterm break was. It seemed like the school was just droning on and on and on. But there were many breaks in between. Many breaks were in between it. If I look at what is September to December, you have how much breaks you have? I think you have one. You have one in October, which means that's a few weeks in past September. You know, September school don't start the 1st. You know this already. It's normally the 7th, so it's already a short month. And by the 18th, you're off on break, and then by you come back again for November, and then by Christmas you're off again. You're off again in Christmas, and you come back in January, and then by sometime in February for Ash Wednesday you're off again. Like, how did I not see this? It just never seemed that way to me, and I don't.
You know when I realized it?
When did it? Well, you have a child that goes to school. Yeah, to go to school. And it's even more so if overseas, because I have a friend that has a child in a school overseas, and they have a lot of holidays. I don't even know where they find time to go to school. Like they have more holidays than we do. They have a lot more holidays than we do, and they actually celebrate them. It's even wondrous if you're a teacher. You get paid the salary, but you're barely working. But you're getting paid though, but you're barely working. You more so have curriculums.
What I would say, is that for the days that you do have to work, you are stretched.
Yeah, man, you're stretched completely.
Because if I only have one, and I don't even have her 24/7, and she wears me out, I can only imagine. I don't even want to imagine. I don't want to imagine.
Can you imagine having 5 children around the same age? You know,
Stop.
And any of them were like me. Stop. That's very problematic.
And it's not 5 inside the bathroom.
27 and 30 of them.
One like me is enough.
Unpaid enough.
As a matter of fact, it's too much. Okay?
When I pin up them, I'll tell you something, man. You start giving me issues, you start giving me problems. I run a line from one pole to the next and get some jumbo close spins. If you can't hear, you must be like grab your 2 ears and I pin the left one up and then I pin the right one up and I just leave you there to hang until you get the lesson. Yeah,
Oh
they are
boy.
not. Teachers aren't paid enough. They are not appreciated enough. They are not thanked enough.
That's true.
But it comes as
I
part
you know
of.
what? Honestly, if I'm being, and I think everyone can hear this out there, right? It is beyond me. Why is it that teachers' salary aren't higher? I think, if I'm being honest about it, teachers are the foundation to society completely, absolutely, completely, and the salary that they get is way less than what some people should be. Their salary compared to some people that shouldn't be getting paid that much. It's embarrassing. It's
But
embarrassing.
what I would say to that is this, especially having some experience at the early childhood level in my church's schools,
Hmm.
and overall in early childhood, because I had an ex that is now working as a teacher. Uh, they don't qualify themselves. They don't go and get themselves get the certification. Yes, you have the love for the children, but that is not enough. And Heart Trust NTA has made it a lot easier to get your certification, and yet still a lot of people still have not gone ahead. So you cannot get the government subsidy, you will not qualify for same. It affects the standing of the school being registered and recognized by the ministry. The other thing too, in like the primary and secondary levels, you are paid not just based on the subject matter that you teach, but also the value that you add to the institution. Because you have teachers who are making a killing, right? Whilst you have those who come and they do the bare minimum, or they only have the bare minimum in terms of requirements. So some don't actually have a degree, or they do have a degree, but they don't have any teaching certification, be it a teaching diploma or an actual degree awarded by a teacher's college or institution for which is certified to deliver educational courses, like teaching courses, right? So there are a number of factors that affect their salary,
Salary.
uh,
Okay.
and it's not enough for people to just rise up and say, yes, teachers aren't paid enough. Sometimes the onus is upon the teacher to make sure that they better themselves towards getting all that they can get. So, like preparatory schools, that's one of the reasons why their tuition is so high as well, because those teachers are paid much better than public schools. You find it in universities, the different levels of academia. It depends on what you are doing, what value you're adding to the institution, what recognition do you bring to the institution. Are you leading in your field? Are you doing research? Or are you just coming here to do dictation, and then as soon as it finish, you pack up your stuff and you leave? If we are not adding value outside of the basic requirements, then don't complain, because some teachers really suck and they ought not to be in the classrooms. They have contributed to some of the failures that has been added to society, because they always tell you that I already have. Is there any teacher that tell you that I already have my degree and you can come here and waste your time to an entire classroom and just paint everybody like that? They have to check themselves, because don't think that people are stupid. We are aware that you have a degree. This is why, you buffoon, you're standing in front up there and I am sitting down here.
Yeah.
But don't state the obvious. Clearly you are stupid. It is upon you not only to educate me, but to also inspire and motivate me to learn.
Yeah,
You only
that's
so
your
support
job.
you, as I am a child. You come telling me that
Right.
and it's not just high school and university. I can understand for university, because you really you
No,
can't
you
speak
never
to the school
university and
friend.
adult now. You understand? You do that different
But
way there. But when high
primary
school and
school,
primary school, yeah, man, you have to.
telling
You can't be
children
saying
about
those things too. You can't be. No, you at that point in time, they're like 14 year hands. You're supposed to be molding them. You're supposed to be letting them know what is what. You can't be saying that to a class filled with even people who are 10. No, or even 11. I would even recommend that either. Nobody who's below the age of 17 should be saying that too. Sorry.
You
I
know
just
how
don't think
I
so.
passed geography? Thank God for cadets. And I passed integrated science by virtue of just reading my textbook and going to class only when there was exam. And my teacher, this was the same teacher that taught me geography, that taught me integrated science, and he was responsible for the quiz team as well. And he always said, he's very very serious in class. He said, "Oh, I'm still you have decided to grace us with your presence." I said, "Yes, sir. The test is on the way." Because he could not teach. He could not teach, and he was very effeminate, and that had nothing to do with his teaching ability, but it took away from the lesson and your attention span, because the flashing of the hand and the thing of the wasting, and no, it was very distracting. I could not manage it. I couldn't. And then he looked down on
Don't, Alex, listen.
he looked down on
Let's
Khaled
leave it
and
down.
was like wasting time.
Alright, I'll put my lips.
So I passed. I passed every test. As a matter of fact, I remember. I think it was on the 10. Was it? Yes. 10th grade block, or it was the 11th grade block. We were there for class, and he was giving out the test papers and thing, and he shamed a couple of people to say that he can't understand how it is that I passed. I passed the test, and they're at class every day, and they would not have passed. Yeah, they should be ashamed of themselves. And I said, "Yeah, look at you, inspiring us. Yeah? What a great leader you are. You are astonishing. You deserve the Nobel Prize. You know? Because you don't understand, when you damage people with your words at such a tender point in their lives, in development. They don't realize the implication. You know, I had two teachers that spoke life into me, Miss Brissett and Miss R. Scott. Miss Brissett was my form teacher from 7th to 9th grade, and Miss R. Scott was my literature teacher. Spoke life into me, and our liaison officer for cadets, Miss Martin, was also there. You have people who do not know how to lift up others, and you're dealing with children, and some of the things and some of the reasons why people have learning blocks, and they refuse to go to class or refuse to go to school altogether. Sometimes because of some of the things that these teachers say to you, you know.
Yeah,
Or
it is. I can agree to that. You see, the thing is, your mind, children are like sponges, and I've said that more than once. Sometimes if you're trying to uplift somebody, tell them positive things. To be honest, if you tell them something negative, they'll absorb that and call that to be the truth. If you're saying that you're just stupid, you're just this, you're just that, that's exactly what they'll think they are, and it will kind of take them a while to come out of that. I can't compare that particular mindset of a person to myself, because even if somebody told me back in the day that I was just stupid, I wouldn't believe them. But that's just because of the type of personality I have. But
it's
overall,
not just telling you, no. It's not just telling you. They reinforce it through your failure.
Right. Exactly.
So when you fail a test, it's like proof. They're putting it into your face.
It's so easy. It's so easy to just come and say, all right, fine, right? I know when in school, I had a math teacher by the name of Mr. Christie. And when you were in the first form, you started to learn how to do simultaneous equations. I know for some persons listening in, they might probably just kiss them teeth, because simultaneous equations is kind of annoying for some people. But the reason why it was particularly not so much annoying for me, because the thing about when doing that particular type of problem, it's just like what the name states. Once you find one side of it, you find the other side immediately, because you're finding it simultaneously. So once you're trying to find one, you find the other. And I remember the first time when I attempted simultaneous equations, he embarrassed me in front of that class. I was always someone that sat in the front, and he embarrassed me in front of that class, saying, how stupid I was, how could I get that wrong? And I remember, just by being embarrassed that way, instead of me choosing to believe that, mind you, I'm not sure if he still works here, I'm pretty sure he doesn't. But some of those things led up to the reasons as to why some teachers were removed from certain places. And I took that as motivation to say, hey, I need to learn how to do this properly, because at the end of the day, it is my responsibility to learn what I need to learn. Like a teacher, and teachers back in the day were not really held accountable for some of the things they would say, because this was before the times of what they are now, when people are held accountable for what they actually say to people, for children, and how they treat children, stuff like that. It's not the same anymore. Back in the day, people could throw dusters, they would say things, they would do a lot of stuff, and just have to suck it up and move on with it. And I guess that's probably why I had that mindset back then. But
since you're on the topic, I'd have to say that, well, high school overall, the turning points for me, because when I started, I was just more of go with the flow. I'm not studying anything. I'm not going to pick up a book after school is over. I'm just going to go with the flow. What I learn, I learn. What I get wrong, I get wrong. That was me until the end of the 7th grade. When I can say overall throughout the years I spent in high school, there were only 2 teachers that motivated the person that I am. And it was the end of the 7th grade when the principal pulled me aside from out of the parent teachers thing that they were having at that point in time. She pulled me aside, pulled me outside of the auditorium, and she just stood there and she looked at me and she's like, Mr. Grant, I have been watching you since you've come into this school, because you came in with stellar grades. I've been watching you from you came into this school, from every 1A exams coming up to this last report card, and I am disappointed. And when she said that, it was just like, I don't know, something inside of me broke. Because it was like when she said it, the world came down. It's like, I am very, very disappointed. This is not what I expected, not from you. We have spoken only once before, and this was not what I expected from you. And
I mean, in my opinion, a teacher saying that to me is high amount of motivation. At least it shows that they see something in you.
Exactly, and that was the change for me. That was the point where I said, you know what? No more just going with the flow. I have to go back to what the person I was before. It's either first or second. And if I come second, I have to come first the next time. And that was just it. The other teacher was my form teacher, because she was my form teacher for both the 7th and 8th grade. In the 8th grade, before she left, the last thing she said to me is, don't let any teacher or anybody here stop you or get in your way from doing what you want to do. You have a particular style, the way how you do things. Continue that way. Don't let any one of these teachers try to change you.
These are good motivational tips, man. They are.
Yeah, and when she said it, I knew exactly who or what teachers she was, trying to say.
I mean, of course you will know, because teachers do talk amongst themselves.
Exactly, and I said it, and
you would know.
Like, I took it, and I completely ran with it, because up to this day, it's been the same, and that's the reason why in the 9th grade, my English teacher, I stopped going to English class overall. Because she came into class and she said something. I'm not going to repeat it. I'm so not going to repeat it. But we were doing summarizing. What was that again? Oh my god. We're doing summaries. And she made an explanation about how to do a summary. And in the class, I had to stop her and I said, Miss, that's wrong. And when I said it, she just snapped. She completely.
Well, I think we've all, well, I know I've definitely had an experience like that before, and
And I stepped out. No, I stepped out of the class and never went back to another English class ever. Because funny enough, she was the same person that would have taught me in the 10th and 11th grade. So I just never went back.
Well,
and then after results came out, I said to her, "You see the difference? I never stepped a foot back in your class after what you said to me." And I came out with a 1, a perfect A profile 1 versus the 2 that you got. There's a big difference between us.
Well, I can say what I can get from that is the fact that, teachers should learn to motivate rather than demotivate. But of course, this entire conversation has been quite reminiscing of what some of the good days were back in those 5 years of school from 1st to 5th form. Some persons have gone further. And quite decent. But of course,
we're not doing that 6th form and upper 16. I'm sorry. I was not going to do that at my school. I could not do 2 years more. No.
But I hope our listeners listening in leave any comment that they particularly liked about this video or anything that they would like us to speak about in our future episodes. It was a lovely conversation.
Ended to be talking about teachers though.
No, teachers was the last topic here. It was.
I think teachers was. Yeah.
It was nostalgia, glory days, puberty, socials, and teachers. Yeah, teachers was the last.
I think they were. I think they were the main point though, because teachers were really what impacted you through high school. I don't think I remember my friends as much as the teachers.
Balance of both.
Every teacher left an impression on you.
No, balance of both for me. Take out something more.
I can remember my direct friends, not the.
Yeah, but I remember the background characters. Exactly. Remember the background characters.
That's all they were, Amma. That's all. Nothing else.
Well, I can say, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe this video, guys. We meet here every Monday at 9 p.m. You can look out for a new episode coming Monday. And, chime in comment section. Reach out to us on Instagram. Follow us wherever you see our handles. And like any of our videos, our pictures. We'd really appreciate it. So from us in the studio, from me, Ryan, Josh, and Alex, thank you for listening to Unpacking tonight and enjoy the rest of your night.